Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. Today I am going to provide you the 7th part of We Live Here Now novel. Hope you will like it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, press on the like, and let's get started.
Chapter 68. Freddy. Are you sure you're going to be okay? She's in the kitchen when I come downstairs with the small overnight bag. I wasn't entirely honest with her when I said that I had to stay in Taunton tonight. Yes, we do have a client dinner meeting. And yes, the boss has booked our team into the Travelodge in case the snow dump happens as expected. But he did say I could duck out and stay at home, given Emily's situation. I said no. A night away from Larkin Lodge is just what I need. Maybe this headache will clear. It always feels better when I'm somewhere else. I should really get someone to check for a minor gas leak. That would explain my headache and odd times of confusion. And maybe some of Emily's strangeness too. Yeah, fine. I'll go to the book group in the pub. We barely look at each other. She turns away and faffs around, wiping a side down, avoiding looking at me. I got an email from Dr. Canning's secretary earlier, she says, and my eyes dart involuntarily to her pills on the side. He's going on holiday and needs to bring my next appointment forward. Pain in the ass, really. But we'll have to go to London. Better to be early than late, I guess. Everyone's lying, even the good doctor. He must think she's getting paranoid, or he's protecting my involvement in the discussion, or both. I have a flutter of something akin to excitement that I don't understand, and after you called him, I guess he was always going to bring it forward. I look back at her pills again as her passive-aggressive rankles. There are a lot of them. There are enough of them. I was worried about you. You know that. I know. I get it. If she gets it, why does she need to mention it at all? Trying to put me in the doghouse again. The useless, weak husband who's always going behind our back. Will that come up in the divorce too? I'm leaving in half an hour or so. I can drop you at the pub on my way and maybe someone can give you a lift back. Then you don't have to drive in snow if it comes. I'm glad she wants to go. The vicar already thinks she's losing her marbles, so it's a win-win situation for me. If she behaves normally, he'll think she's faking it. And if she mentions any more strangeness in the house, that's more fuel to my fire. I go back into the lounge while she busies herself doing nothing in the kitchen, still pondering her pills. Anti-anxiety pills. Pills to help her sleep. There are plenty that she could use to kill herself. I didn't increase the life insurance this time. It's the same policy we've had forever. Nothing suspicious there. I stare into the flames, and under the crackling wood I hear the hum of a beehive. If Emily overdosed, my debts would immediately come to light and make people suspicious, for sure, but they would never be able to prove it. On top of all her paranoias about the house, maybe finding out about my problems would be seen as sending her over the edge. Has she consulted a divorce lawyer, though? That could go against me. The flames licked the back of the grate, hungry, the heart of the fire almost. White with heat. Everything could go against me. But they would have to prove that I did something, and I have plenty of evidence that she's mentally unstable. I take a deep breath, and then have a moment of joy as my body thaws out. As fast as an ice cube dropped in boiling water. The house is warm, and so am I. Maybe I'm going to kill my wife. It's a strange and surreal thought, but it doesn't fill me with horror. I look back at her pills again, as her passive aggressiveness rankles. There are a lot of them. There are enough of them. I was worried about you. You know that. I know. I get it. If she gets it, why does she need to mention it at all? Trying to put me in the doghouse again. The useless, weak husband who's always going behind her back. Will that come up in the divorce too? I'm leaving in half an hour or so. I can drop you at the pub on my way, and maybe someone can give you a lift back. Then you don't have to drive in snow if it comes. I'm glad she wants to go. The vicar already thinks she's losing her marbles, so it's a win-win situation for me. If she behaves normally, he'll think she's faking it. And if she mentions any more strangeness in the house, that's more fuel to my fire. I go back into the lounge while she busies herself doing nothing in the kitchen, still pondering her pills. Anti-anxiety pills. Pills to help her sleep. There are plenty that she could use to kill herself. I didn't increase the life insurance this time. It's the same policy we've had forever. Nothing suspicious there. I stare into the flames, and under the crackling wood I hear the hum of a beehive. If Emily overdosed, my debts would immediately come to light and make people suspicious, for sure, but they would never be able to prove it. On top of all her paranoias about the house, maybe finding out about my problems would be seen as sending her over the edge. Has she consulted a divorce lawyer, though? That could go against me. The flames licked the back of the grate, hungry, the heart of the fire, almost white with heat. Everything could go against me. But they would have to prove that I did something, and I have plenty of evidence that she's mentally unstable. I take a deep breath, and then have a moment of joy as my body thaws out, as fast as an ice cube dropped in boiling water. The house is warm, and so am I. Maybe I'm going to kill my wife. It's a strange and surreal thought, but it doesn't fill me with horror. Chapter 69. Emily, I'm not sure we should stay out too long. Paul says to our small gathering, at a corner table, in the quiet pub. No one wants to be driving the lanes in a blizzard. It's quiet in the pub, and outside, while the snow isn't falling heavily yet. The flakes are getting thicker, sticking to the windows, creating an oppressive claustrophobia. There's a claustrophobic atmosphere around this table too. The only people who've showed up are the vicar, and Sally, and Joe. And I couldn't feel more uncomfortable if I tried. I take a large sip of my red wine, and watch Sally and Joe over the top of my glass. One of the girls he was painting at the studio is behind the bar, and she glances over at him occasionally, with such longing I'm sure he must have slept with her. If Sally notices, she doesn't mind. They're sitting side by side, his hand on her thigh. His is a guest appearance, not a normal book group member, but he decided to stay when he saw I was here. Despite what he said at the party, is he thinking I'll be his next conquest? I didn't really enjoy the story. I break the silence. It was a bit grim. I'd quickly finished the murders in the Rue Morgue while Freddie had got his overnight bag together earlier. I wanted to see Sally, and the book club was the perfect excuse. She's funny and charming and beautiful, and has no idea that the man beside her murdered her. No wonder she was getting headaches in the house. She's been separated from herself for a long time now, and perhaps her body could feel it. And a bloody monkey, Paul adds. All very clever, but really, not exactly satisfying. He hasn't said a word about what happened at the party, and I'm glad. I'm trying my best to appear perfectly normal, and he seems to be believing it. It's a classic though, Sally adds. First of its kind, and all that. Although I'm not sure those best twists you'll read all year. Book blurbs on Amazon could get away with the killer being an escaped gorilla. We should try something lighter next. Perhaps a rom-com. Cleanse the palate. Paul glances sideways at me, clearly worrying that all the talk of murder might send me back to my paranoid suggestions. I was premature in thinking he'd forgotten what I'd said. Still, we'll be moving soon, and I'll never see these people again. Good idea, Sally says. Murder stories stop me sleeping. Are you okay, Emily? Joe's studying me, concerned. You're a bit pale. Sorry, I do have a bit of a headache. It's surreal sitting opposite them. Perhaps he's even persuaded himself that killing his wife was all a dream. They're happy. Anyone can see that. Happier than they were when she was constantly jealous back in the days, Marilee Watkins described. That part of Sally Fremantle is stuck in my third-floor bedroom. Maybe it's something in the house. Sally says quietly, her brow furrowed. I got a terrible headache there. Joe leans across and kisses her, soft and sweet, and she looks so joyful, and so does he. A quiet, perfect love, if unconventional, and all it took was a little murder. It's hard to believe when I'm out of the house and she's so clearly alive and well. Maybe the book is the rambling of a madman, and maybe Mrs. Tucker found it and read it and then dreamed Gerald's death. Maybe Fortuna never killed him at all. Too many maybes. Joe's still looking at me thoughtfully as I pull my coat on and say my goodbyes, and I have a moment of panic that he can see right into my head. You will die here. A warning. Would he kill me too if he knew I knew? No, because no one would believe me. There isn't even a victim. I'll drop you back now. Paul cuts in just as I think Joe is about to suggest he do the same thing. The weather's getting worse. I'm sorry about what I said at the party. It's freezing in Paul's old car, the heater blasting out air that's barely above the temperature outside, and the snow is turning to ice on the windshield. We've made small talk about the weather and Poe, but there's been the elephant of my talk of Georgina's murder between us. Obviously I'd got carried away with my imagination. It was stupid, and I'd had some wine and, well, I shrugged as if that's enough of an explanation. Oh, good. The gears grunt as he speeds up along the road. Freddie's been very worried about you. Freddie. I look across at the old man, surprised. What's he said to you? Nothing very much. He was talking to me at the party. Said you'd still been having some unusual experiences in the house. He shouldn't have done that. I'm a vicar, Emily. People talk to me. That's the main part of my job. Hearing the problems of others and trying to help them. We don't need your help. I'm fine. I'm quietly seething, part anger and part embarrassment. That they've been whispering in corners about me, and it's not like he's perfect himself. Not by a long shot. In the words of Billy Wilder, nobody's perfect. He looks across at me, but he loves you, and I think you're a lovely person who's been through a lot, and we are both concerned for you, that's all. He's worried you may have some anxiety and depression after your accident. What is it you're all so worried I'm going to do? I stare at him as he pulls into the drive. Kill myself, maybe. He looks sheepish in the gloomy light as the car comes to a halt, and I realize that's exactly what he was worrying about, the last part anyway. Jesus Christ, I mutter and get out of the car, slamming the door behind me. Ignoring his pleas to listen. What does he know about me and Freddie? Nothing. Maybe I should tell him how Freddie hasn't exactly helped any of my anxieties by getting back into gambling. But I won't do that, because I do my best to be loyal, because I'm the better person. I hobble toward the house and don't look back. Asterisk chapter 70. Emily, Sally, and Joe are not my business. That's what I told myself when I got home, climbing into bed, still angry at both Freddie and the vicar. They're happy, and I've got enough problems with Freddie's debts. Whatever part of Sally that's trapped here might also be dangerous. She threatened to slit Georgina Usher's throat all those years ago. What might she do if I set her free? I went to bed having decided that I'd leave it well alone, get the money, get out of this place, go to France, work on my own marriage, if I decide to stay in it. My period still isn't here, and surely if I do another test soon, I'll get a clear answer. A rattle from the hallway startles me out of my near sleep. It's only 10, but feels like the dead of night as I push myself up to half sitting to listen. There's no wind buffeting the outside of the house, and the rattling from the landing is an island of noise in the silence. The rattling stops, and there is the scraping and grunt of wood, followed by immediate icy air. It smells fresh, not rotten. It's air from outside. I get up, the floorboards already cold underfoot, and wrap my dressing gown tight, my heart starting to race. I pull. The bedroom door opens slowly, peering cautiously out as I reach for the light switch. I can see it, even before the sudden brightness of the bulbs makes me squint. The hallway sash window is open upward, the bottom panel lifted, not the top panel fallen. Thick flakes of snow drift in, appearing as from nowhere, spat out by the endless, unforgiving darkness beyond. My skin prickles with more than just cold, and something glints at my feet, demanding my attention. I stare at that tiny space in the floorboards. The nail. The nail is back. Of course it is. I skirt around it, and when I reach the window, I can't bring myself to shut it immediately. A sudden fear of closing myself up in here, and it becoming my grave. I grip the windowsill, letting the cold air encircle me, ignoring the heavy flakes of snow that land on my face and hair. I take in a deep breath. Sell the house. Get out of here, I think. Larkin Lodge isn't your problem. Sally Fremantle isn't your problem. The window slams shut so fast that I barely have time to pull my hands away, and as the wood comes screeching down hard, it traps my little finger, white pain exploding through me. Splinters tear and cut at my skin as I stumble backward, pulling my hand free, the window snapping that final inch shut. As I cradle my hand, the lights suddenly flicker overhead. For an awful moment, I think I'm about to be plunged into the pitch black. But the yellow bulb sputters back into life and, moaning, I go into the bathroom, my fingers throbbing hard and already swelling, and, worst of all, it's bleeding around the nail. Sepsis, 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 is all I can think, at the sink, almost sobbing in my fear and panic. I stick my finger under the tap and open the bathroom cupboard to find the antiseptic and plasters. I shriek as the water turns from freezing to boiling. In an instant, the hot water coming out in a jet, splashing up my arm, and once again I'm forced to yank my hand away and stumble backward. In the hallway the window creaks open and slams shut, over and over. So fast and angry I think the glass might break. Stop it, stop it, stop it. I slide down to the floor, gripping the small bottle of antiseptic in one hand as my cut finger pumps blood over my dressing gown. Please, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My knees under my chin, I hide my face, curling up like a child, just wanting it all to go away. This madness of the house. I want to be back in the hospital. I'd rather be in a coma than dealing with all this. I want it to stop. The noise goes on, a cacophony of bangs and slams and rattles and creaks, taps around the house coming on and off. The shower starting up, doors slamming, and all the time I keep my head down, curled in on myself as if I can make myself disappear. Finally, when I can't take it anymore, I look up and scream, okay, I'll do it. Asterisk everything stops. An instant silence. I'll do it, I repeat, more softly. I'll set you free. Chapter 71. Emily. I sleep like the dead. It's only the sound of plows clearing snow from the lane outside that finally wakes me. The house is warm and calm, and if it weren't for the throbbing pain in my little finger, I could half convince myself that it had all been a dream. It's swollen but not red and hot, and I'm still going to drown it in more antiseptic and tape it up, but I don't have a panic of sepsis today. There are too many distractions. In the hallway the nail has once again vanished, and the window is shut. I check the fastenings and see it's locked too. Sally Fremantle, I whisper, looking up to the third floor. Are you here? There's no answer, as if the madness of last night has drained her energy too. I bathe and tape up my little finger, and then get in the shower. Tentatively at first, and ready to leap out if the temperature changes suddenly and let the warm water run over me. I flinch slightly as I soap. My breasts are so tender and heavy that maybe my period is coming after all. I add that to the list of things to think about later. While I'm in town, I can pick up a better test. Before that, I have one job to do. Empty this house of unwelcome residents. It's bright outside, the fresh snow sparkling. But the plows have worked hard, so the road to the village is clear. With my sturdy boots on and my stick in hand, I make it to the car without incident. I'm going to the studio to talk to Sally, and my plan is to suggest we go next door to their cottage for a coffee to discuss how it works if Joe paints me. While I'm there, I'll go to the loo and steal whatever I can of Sally's to hide in my bag and bring home to burn. Surely I can grab a few things. A hairbrush, maybe. Underwear from a laundry basket. I guess anything with DNA on it will do. I'm so lost in thought that when my car loudspeaker starts ringing, I realize I'm halfway to Wiveliscum already. It's Izzo calling, and my nerves already rattled Dratchet up another notch. What if Mark's decided to come clean and told her that I've blackmailed him? I let it ring for a moment longer, and then take a breath and answer. Hey. I'm pleased to hear that I sound normal. I'm driving so can't talk for long. The weather's a mare, but you're driving. That's great. Her voice crackles through the speaker. I haven't said it recently, but I'm so proud of how well you're doing. Getting better every day. Good on you, best bitch. You're my superhero. She used to say that when we were at uni, even though she was the beautiful, shining one, and it made me feel special. I realize it still does. It has always felt great to be important to ISO. I wanted to apologize for drinking so much at the party and throwing up. I'm so embarrassed, and Mark's been even more moody with me, so I know he's ashamed of me. There were strangers there, and you know what he's like with new people. I don't know why I did it. I've not been feeling that great, and he was. Anyway, it'll all be nothing, but it wasn't fair on you. We didn't care, Izzo. I didn't really notice you were pissed until you threw up. You held it together with panache. She laughs at the other end, relieved. I try. But are you and Mark okay? Yeah, I think so. She doesn't sound certain. It's just hard sometimes. He's so successful and I try to be the perfect trophy wife, but sometimes I feel like it's not enough, you know? And none of us are getting any younger. Sometimes I think if he's not 100% happy, we should maybe part ways as friends and try our luck on someone new. You ever feel like that with Freddie? Or am I having some kind of early midlife crisis? It's rare to hear ISO sounding insecure. I'm her best friend. I should tell her to have it out with Mark if she's got some niggling doubts. I should tell her that I know exactly why Mark's been so moody recently. I should tell her about Kat, even if I spare her the video. You're perfect, ISO, and he loves you, is what I say instead. And every couple has those moments. He's probably stressed about something at work. Yeah, you're right. And sorry, I didn't mean to dump my shit on you. I just have that kind of paranoid feeling that something's going on. Well, don't. You have nothing to worry about. Okay? Okay? I love you, Em. I was lost when you were in the hospital. So drive carefully. Yes, I will. And I love you too. And I'll call you later. Guilt twists in my gut like maggots eating at me. Iso's my oldest friend. I should tell her what I saw Mark and Kat doing and let them all figure it out from there. Not stay silent while taking money from blackmailing her husband. Sometimes that feels like a dream too. Did I really do that? How awful. This need to protect myself above others has always been a part of me, but maybe this is taking it too far. Maybe I should call Mark and give the money back. But still, I think, as I pull into a parking space next to the pharmacist, he's sent the money, now. And it's not like I'm using it just for me. It will get us out of trouble, and get Freddie some help with gambling rehab, and for all I know we have a baby coming. And anyway, Mark won't even miss it. Emily. As I get out of the car, I turn to see Joe there, wrapped up in a jacket and scarf, and I'm suddenly afraid that he knows that I know, but he smiles warmly. How's the headache? All gone? Yes, just needed a good night's sleep. Actually, I was on my way to see you and Sally. My heart thrums hard in my chest. I was wondering if you were serious about painting me. I'm always serious about painting. So yes, I was. I would love for you to sit for me. I'm picking up Sally from the hairdresser's, then we're going to Carmelo's for lunch. He smiles. Why don't you join us? We can talk about it there. That would be great, I say. I take the arm he's holding out and can feel his biceps under his blazer. Despite everything I suspect of him, he's still magnetic. I can understand how that girl in the pub looked at him. The idea of being naked as he paints. There's a sexual thrill I can't deny. even though I'm never going to do it. We get to the salon just as the stylist is showing Sally the back of her head and giving her a waft of hairspray, and she grins and waves in the mirror. Emily's joining us for lunch. Joe leans in and kisses her full and lingering on the mouth. You look gorgeous. That style really suits you, I add. She's had a fair amount cut off, 3 or 4 inches, maybe more from the look of all the hair littered around the chair, and a bunch of choppy layers cut in. It's a super cool look. Let's hope whole Sally likes it. It feels surreal thinking that some of this woman's essence is stuck in my house. Maybe I am mad, maybe more than maybe, but I still believe it. Thanks. She saunters over to the counter, and Joe follows her, reaching for his credit card as a junior takes the robe from his wife and fetches her coat. Get that floor swept, please. Sasha, a stylist, calls across to the junior, who nods, and my stomach does an excited flip as I look down. Hair. Sally's. A lot of it. I lift my keys from my pocket and accidentally drop them at my feet, and as I lean down to pick them up, my back to the others at the counter, I also quickly grab a few, cut locks and wrap them in a tissue, stuffing them away, hopefully before anyone sees. When I turn, head thumping with a rush of blood, Joe is still at the counter chatting, and Sally has joined him. One item down. Lunch then, ladies, Joe says as we go outside. I take one arm, and Sally takes the other as he leads us to the restaurant, where we take a corner booth. Joe between us. I study their dynamic as they talk me through the process of the artwork and the percentage they'd pay to me as a model. It's not a small amount. Joe really is a sought-after artist, if they're making that much. Sally's constantly looking at him, adoration in her eyes. Maybe that's what he needs from women. Adulation. Maybe that's why he fell in love with her in the first place. She had her wit and charm, and she adored him. But the downside was that she couldn't ever share him as the plates are cleared. I surreptitiously take the wet towel that Sally wiped her hands and mouth on after her garlic butter prawns and pocket it, 2 items down. Then when we leave, and Sally pops to the loo and Joe pays, despite my protests, I sneak her napkin too. I don't need or want to go back to the cottage really, but I don't have a good excuse not to, so I impatiently drink my tea. Have an obligatory toke on a joint as Joe rummages in their record collection for something to play, and then make my excuses, saying I need to get back before Freddie's home from work. I can walk you to your car, if you like, Joe says. I'll be fine. It's barely 50 feet from here, but thank you. I'll talk to Freddie about the painting. See what he thinks. I leave them to it, Sally already swaying to the music, mildly stoned, and I know that as soon as I'm out the door they'll be dancing together, and probably very quickly fucking. I let myself out, taking the silk scarf she was wearing at lunch, now draped on a coat hook, and get back out into the icy air. Fuck it. By the time they notice anything is missing, it will be too late. The strains of music drift out to me as I walk away. Some 70s focus-sounding band I don't know. Enjoy it while it lasts. Joe, I think. Your chickens are about to come home to roost. The drive home is uneventful. When I get home, without giving myself any time to think, I go to the kitchen and grab a roasting pan, matches, and firelighters before heading straight upstairs. It's getting dark already, and who knows when Freddie will get back. Even with the lights on, the upper landing is edged in suffocating shadows. As I push open the door to the primary bedroom, there's an awful chill hanging in the air, and the floorboards creak heavily under me as I walk to the center of the empty space. I don't stop though. I know what I have to do. Seated on the floor, I empty my Sally collection into the roasting tin and add the firelighters. It takes 2 goes for my trembling hands to light a match, and I throw it straight onto the fire before any draft can extinguish it. The flames appear immediately and shoot up unnaturally high toward the ceiling, and I sit back, heart racing, and watch it start to burn. I know straight away that something strange is happening. It's like all the air in the room is being sucked into the roasting tin like a whirlpool and expelled as the flames, bright white with a swirling black smoke. The smoke expands and expands, filling the room fast, dark, sulfuric, and ashy, and I scuttle backward, my eyes already burning and watering. I try not to breathe in, but I have no choice. And the hot smoke goes into my lungs, and suddenly chapter 72, asterisk, I'm not in the upstairs bedroom. I'm not anywhere, and yet I'm everywhere, watching the action. I'm the house, perhaps. The power that was built into the house sensing what's about to happen. They're fighting in the bedroom. They look so different, so young, but it's them. A small suitcase is open on the bed, and while Sally, red-faced from hysterical crying and rage, still launches accusations at him, I know there was something happening. I could see it in the way you looked at her. How was I supposed to sit by and watch that and not say anything? How could you do that to me? He's yanking her clothes out of a chest of drawers and putting them in it. He looks wild, his pupils so dilated his eyes are nearly entirely black. I can't do this anymore, he finally says when her tirade of anger and jealousy and insecurity pauses for breath. You're exhausting me. I need to breathe. I thought you loved me. She tries to tug a sweater out of his hands, but he pulls it free and folds it into the case. I did love you. I do love you, but I can't deal with this, all these questions. I barely knew Georgina, and you've run her out of town. Do you realize how crazy that is? I can't go the rest of my life without talking to another woman, Sally. I can't go through the rest of my life without sleeping with another woman. I won't. I'm an artist. I need that freedom. You said you needed it too. He storms out, slightly unsteady on his feet, and I'm pulled with him, tugged through the air like a balloon on a string. As he goes to the bathroom and clumsily gathers up her toiletries. You can't do this. I'll change. She's followed him, and the rage has turned to fear and upset as she realizes he means business. Her heavy eye makeup a look that I somehow know, maybe because Joe does. Isn't her usual, but is Georgina's, that she's made a pathetic attempt to replicate his streaked down her face. A tragic rejected clown. You say that every time. He pushes past her and back out onto the landing, dragging me with him. I mean it this time. She rushes out of the bathroom and clings to his arm. Please, Joe, please. I'll kill myself if you leave me. You know I will, please. It's too much for him though, this ritual that they've been through so many times in their relationship. His love is never enough for her, and it never will be. That black hole of jealousy and need just gets bigger and bigger. This time, this final time, her fingers clinging onto him, and her tears, do nothing but disgust him. The weed is strong, and he's still tripping a little from the acid he did in the studio last night. The light and color and emotions glitteringly surreal. Her fingers turn into dirty talons digging into him, and momentarily her face contorts. She's a vulture that won't let go. Why can't she just be the Sally who he loves? The Sally who was so cool with everything that he is in a way, that made him love her so much more. He's at breaking point. Even the drugs can't calm him down. It's all snapping inside him, and as she tries to pull him toward her, he pushes her hard away. Enough. He pushes her too hard. Surprised, she stumbles backward, trips over her own feet, and falls flat on her back. It's the only sound she makes, and then nothing. She just lies there, silent and still. Joe hesitates, confused. Maybe she's been drinking, or she's so overwrought that she just can't bring herself to move. Because he's sure he didn't push her that hard, did he? Sally. Colors glittered brightly, trailing at the corners of his vision. Asterisk, she doesn't answer. Her hand twitches, and then so does her leg. Her eyes, wide open, look left and right as her mouth tries to move. This isn't funny. You know, I've been tripping. Don't freak me out. Get up. We can talk about things. He's afraid now. He doesn't know quite what's happened, but he knows. deep down inside, that with that push something went very, very wrong. It's when he kneels beside her that he sees the blood starting to pool behind her head. Oh God, it's his turn to sound distraught now. Her throat gurgles. She's desperately trying to say something, her eyes darting this way and that, confused. Not understanding what's happening to her. He suddenly understands though. The nail dot, the one that he was supposed to take out from the loose floorboard, after she nearly trod on it a week or so ago. He doesn't even know how it got there. An inch of nail sticking up the wrong way. A floor's revenge perhaps for a snotty homeowner not happy with their work. He almost trod on it himself once and has skirted around it since then, too busy creating art to find pliers and a new floorboard and make the repair himself. Now it's too late. He lifts Sally's head and shoulders carefully away from the floor and hears the awful squelch as the base of her skull comes free from the bloody metal spike underneath. He wonders how something so small can have done so much damage, and that maybe in a minute, when the shock wears off, she'll get up and start shouting at him again, as his adrenaline fires up. Whatever's left of the acid momentarily makes her blood a beautiful bright red, but it's sticky on his fingers and he's worried he'll never get it off. Her eyes are terrified, and he knows, deep down, that something irreparable has happened, and that she's not going to be getting up ever again. I'm sorry, he whispers, sitting back on his heels, eyes wide in horror, not knowing what to do. That's not strictly true. He might be high, but he does know what to do. He should go downstairs, pick up the phone, and call for an ambulance. That's what he should do. But he can't bring himself to move. What would be the outcome of that call? A wheelchair maybe. A life spent feeding her with a teaspoon, cleaning up her shit. Maybe he could do all that if she was the Sally he loved. But the jealousy and insecurities will still be there. They will turn to hate. He'll be chained to her in something awful. He can see the years stretching endless ahead. A prison of a life. A prison of a life for her too. He moves forward a little. Sally, he whispers. The air vibrates with his word, but he ignores the shimmer of acid trails in his vision. They're not real. Sally is real. What he's done to Sally is real, isn't it? Her eyes dart toward him. No movement at all in her limbs now, and they stare at each other. And for a moment all he feels is a rush of love and warmth for her because she's so afraid and helpless. And then he sees it. The tiny kernel of rage, a splinter of it clear in her expression. I'm sorry, Sally, he says again, as if there's any way she can forgive him for what he's about to do. I'm sorry. He closes his eyes so he doesn't have to see his bloody hands as they press against her mouth and nose. Her face feels like cold dough, and he wonders if his hands will sink right through it. He doesn't have to hold tight, because she can't struggle. But he twists his head away even as he sobs, wondering how he got into this nightmare. After a minute or so, he takes his hands away, and slowly, so slowly, turns back to look at her dot. Her eyes are still wide and staring upward, but there's no life in them. No life, or love, or jealousy, or light, or darkness. She's empty. She's dead. Asterisk. Time passes. Hours. Day turns to night. He sits on the floor beside her and tries to think. It's done now. It can't be undone. Can he say he found her like this? He was in the garden collecting flowers and came in and she was dead. He smokes, skunk until his throat and eyes burn from the weed and exhaustion. When he finally straightens out a little, he looks at her splayed body. She fell backward, in the middle of a hallway. There's no way that could happen without a push. A shove. Even the local yokel police would have suspicions about that. So what else is there he can say? Tell half the truth. They argued, and he pushed her away, and she landed unluckily. Could he get away with saying she died fast? Would they be able to tell? It's been hours already since she landed on the nail, and he still hasn't called anyone. He's not local. Will they turn on him? He can see the headlines now. Drugged artist murders local girl after fight over another woman. Crime of passion. Life imprisonment. His life is over. He doesn't know what to do, so he does nothing. For 3 days he does nothing. I watch him through the endless hours, the sleepless nights and days of it. Sometimes he laughs. Sometimes he cries. He drinks. He smokes weed. Takes pills. Not acid. He won't trust himself on acid, but the time passes in a haze. He plays music. He sits in the garden and howls at the moon. It's a fever dream I live through with him. He thinks very hard about killing himself too, but doesn't know how to do it, and very much wants to live. He thinks about running, but he has nowhere to go. No passport even. It's a hot summer, and this week is the hottest, dampest of the year. Thunderbugs hang in the air on the moisture, nature holding its breath, waiting for the weather to break. On day 2, Sally, forever on the middle landing floor, starts to stink. She smells bad, rotten, and sweet, and if he gets too close, he thinks he can hear little popping sounds coming from inside her. He opens the landing window to let the stench of her out, but the upstairs is becoming unbearable. Still, he can't stay away. He goes and looks at her, and sometimes he can't remember a time when she wasn't just a body on the floor. He wonders if the world outside has died, or maybe he has died, and this is his hell. He wishes he could sleep. If he could sleep, then there is half a chance that this might be a dream when he wakes up. But he's not asleep. He's high and drunk, and Sally's rotting, and time is moving on. On day 3, her mother calls. He doesn't answer at first. The noise so alien and not part of this new universe of him and rotting Sally and the stench and his madness, but finally he does. He hears himself saying she's in Taunton for the day. He's going to pick her up later. He says yes, of course they'll visit this week. Yes, she is feeling better. When he hangs up, he has no recollection of calling in to her work sick on her behalf, but he must have done. His self-preservation instincts working for him, even if the rest of him is failing woefully. In the middle of the 3rd day, he decides enough is enough. He'll hide her for now, and then find some way to dispose of her. The septic tank, perhaps, if he cuts her up into small enough pieces that will rot down. Buy some sulfuric acid and throw it in. Put her in a drum, something, but he needs her. Gone. He needs to sleep, and he can't do that with her on the landing. He stares at her fizzing body, watching the fly crossing her eyeball. He's opened and closed the windows so many times, afraid that the stink may waft down and carry his guilt straight to the local constable, that now he thinks it would be odd without the smell. He looks up the stairs. He'll put her upstairs, for now, and think on it all. The small part of his rational mind that remains knows that by tomorrow, one way or another, the game is up. They can't stay here, just the two of them. How jealous Sally always wanted it, forever. He must either confess or get rid of her. He has washing up gloves on when he wraps her in a sheet and ties the end off with thick garden wire. He's never thought of himself as physically strong. But all that time spent outside digging the plant beds and laying fresh lawn has given him some summer muscles, and combined with his sheer desperation, he manages to haul her up a few steps and then leverage her over his shoulder. He's rubbed Vicks under his nose and taken a couple of uppers, but it's no match for the new ode to Sally. Enveloping him, he starts to cry when he reaches the top landing and wobbles slightly, his legs shaking and tired, and momentarily thinks he may fall backward himself, but he grips the banister hard and yanks himself forward. He won't be found at the bottom of the stairs, suffocating and broken under the rotting body of his girlfriend. The door creaks open, and as he drags her in, the heel of her shoe, poking out from the sheet, scrapes on the wood like fingernails before the door creaks and clicks shut again. He drops the body in the center of the room and staggers out, closing the door behind him. He opens the windows on the landing again. He changes the bed sheets so they're fresh. He unpacks Sally's case of things she kept in his house, putting them all back where they were, sobbing some more, remembering how lovely she could be when she wasn't so jealous. How perfect they were in those heady first days. He scrubs the landing floor and burns his bloody clothes in the fire. Finally, he has a long bath, and eventually, after 3 long days and nights, he crawls between the clean sheets and falls asleep. He has somehow, just by moving her, resigned himself to his fate. He can't cut her up. He's not that person. One last sleep in his bed, and then tomorrow he'll face the music. There's nothing left to do. He is fast asleep when the upstairs door opens. He doesn't hear Sally come down the stairs and then go down to the kitchen and boil the kettle. He only wakes up when she's beside him on the bed, a cup of tea on the table for him, sitting cross-legged in her leggings, hair Bardo sexy around, her perfect face. "I had the strangest dream," she says, "but I can't remember it. Everything is a blur." The confused look lasts only a moment before she shakes her head and smiles at him. "Anyway, I'm cooking eggs. You coming down?" She gets up, then looks back from the doorway, frowning. "By the way, did I have a fight with Georgina about something?" She's puzzled, a memory not fitting quite right. I should call and apologize. So silly. Maybe we should have her over for a drink. Maybe you should paint her. He stares after her as she goes. The sheet is gone from the upstairs room, back in the laundry cupboard. It smells fresh and clean. It's as if it never happened. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it was all a crazy long acid trip. That has to be it. There's no other explanation. Only weed from now on. No more nightmares like that. Still, he locks the upstairs bedroom door and decides he won't use it anymore. Maybe it's time to move out of this house. Chapter 73, Emily, and then I'm back in the room, gasping for breath. There's no black smoke, just the pale light of the bulb and the remnants of ash cooling in the baking tray. I look around me. I feel for something in the house. Nothing, just me and the bricks and mortar. No bad smell or oppressive atmosphere. It's a lovely, spacious, primary suite, ready to be moved in, too. I sit back on my heels, and while the world has righted itself, my head still spins with what I've seen of the past, what I've just lived, and it takes a few moments before I feel like me again. Now that I've lived it, I understand everything that's been going on. The nail in the hallway that kept appearing and disappearing. That was where Sally died. The window opening and slamming. The sound of the bedroom door opening and creaking. Shut bits of the past being visited on me. Clues as to what Joe did to Sally. Thinking of her body lying rotting for days on the landing outside our current bedroom makes me shiver. It's so horrifying, and it's left me shaken, but I know it's all true. As my breath slows down, I know with absolute certainty that Sally Fremantle was murdered and her soul torn in two. One part free and one part trapped in this room. Until I freed her. I stay there in a daze until pins and needles force me to my feet. I pick up the pan and hobble out into the hallway. Still nothing. No smell. No awful sensation. Just a house with only me in it. Will Larkin Lodge get hungry again? Want a new occupant in the room? Does it attract couples with secrets? Couples, like Freddie and me. You will die here. No, I won't. I know the secret of the house now. I'm prepared, and despite his debts, I'm not killing Freddie. We are not like those other couples. Hannah and Christopher Hopper, Fortuna and Gerald, Joe and Sally. Sally, has she joined back up already? Would that be instant? What was she doing when it happened? Would Joe know? Has he noticed a change in her yet? Is she angry with him? Will she even know what happened? More than that, will Joe? My head is a whirl of questions, and I'm afraid of most of the answers. But I did what Sally wanted. She can't come after me for it, and their marriage isn't. My business. We need to sell this house and get out. Start again somewhere else. It's a relief when Freddie comes home. We order Chinese, curl up together on the sofa, and watch a movie. Despite my sore breasts, My period still hasn't come. And as I lie there in his arms, I realize that I really am hoping I'm pregnant. Freddie wants to put his mistakes right. I need to do the same. A baby that is truly ours. No guilt attached. A fresh life for a fresh start. We're not like the rest of them. We're really not. Asterisk chapter 74. Asterisk Brightwing is gone. She's flown back to the roosts, where the others gather, never more to return. He barely remembers that she was here, as if she too was part of the strange dream of his life these past few seasons. Broken Wing is back. Her chest is plump, feathers glossy, and her black eyes shine with the fierce bravery and intelligence and humor that made him want to nest with her so long ago, before the white came into her feathers and brought with it the mean streak that had hidden inside her. The white patches are still there, amid the damage, but the mean streak has gone, and she flies as well as she ever did. They soar together above the frozen moors, cawing to each other, dancing together. And while he knows that this is not right, this is not the way of beasts, and birds, and man. And dead is dead, whichever you are, he finds he does not care. His mate is not dead. That is all he knows. His mate is not dead, and she no longer pecks at him. They turn their backs on the strange house on the moor and fly away toward the warm roofs and nests of the villages and towns. They fly away from farmers' guns and strange houses that sit and wait to lure them in. They fly away from other birds. They don't need them. His head bends in toward hers, warm and inviting. They have each other again. Forevermore. They fly away, and they don't look back. Asterisk, chapter 75. Freddie, another beer. Emily nods at Paul's empty bottle. I'll go. I start getting to my feet, the dutiful husband, but she waves me back down and smiles. I've got to keep moving. Been a lazy day, and my leg is aching. How's she doing? Paul watches her thoughtfully as she heads out to the kitchen. She called me to say sorry for snapping in the car. She was pretty dark this morning, but seems better this afternoon. She's got an appointment with her specialist next week, so once that's done I'll feel happier. As it happens, Emily hasn't mentioned any strange events in the house for the past couple of days, and in fact, she laughed it off the last time I mentioned it, saying how embarrassed she was that she got so worked up in her imagination. It's been an odd few days. I tapped at one of the pipes that leads from the kitchen upstairs when she was in the bath last night, but she had no reaction. Maybe she didn't even hear it. I still worry that she's emotionally unstable. I add, I don't know why. Emily's not suicidal, and I'm not going to kill my wife. Even if I really wanted to, she's making it difficult. She's been ridiculously nice over the past few days. Almost like the old Emily. She's been affectionate, joyful, almost. Not that I think she's going to. I'm cut off by 3 loud toots of a car horn coming from the front of the house, and the moment is gone. More visitors, it seems. I finish as we get to our feet. Emily is already out on the drive, and we join her in time to see Joe and Sally getting out of an overloaded estate car. What's going on? I ask. We're going on a road trip. Sally smiles. Rented a place in Scotland with a studio. Getting back to nature for a month. We've always wanted to go, and now the weather's turned milder, we figured why not. Joe's going to paint me again. Exciting. Paul peers into where the back seat is covered in cases. Are you sure you're only gone for a month? The plants from the studio are in the boot, Joe says to Paul. We wondered if you could look after them. You weren't in, so we thought we'd try here. I can do my best. Hopefully, I won't let you down. Brilliant. Jump in, and we can go down to yours and unload them. Some of the pots are pretty heavy. Sure, I'll give you a hand, I say. It won't take long to get the pots out between me and Paul, and then when Joe leaves to pick up Sally, I can labor my worries about Emily more with Paul. Great, Sally says. I'll stay here for a chat with Emily while you men do the manual labor. I look at Emily still hanging back on the house steps. Is that okay? Of course. Make sure you carry the heavy ones. I don't know if it's the sudden shadow of clouds across the winter sun, but she looks tense. I dash inside and grab my keys from the hook, then jump into my own car. Okay, let's go. Asterisk as I wave goodbye out of the window. Emily Hath raises a hand back, then folds her arms protectively at her chest again. What is wrong with her? Her good mood has evaporated. I wonder if Paul notices it too. Chapter 76. Emily. So, Sally says as the cars round the corner onto the lane, disappearing out of sight. Here we are. Her whole demeanor changes now that the men have gone. She slouches slightly, one hand on her hip, a wry smile on her face, but all her ease has vanished. There's a sudden hardness in her expression. Something brittle. Jo hasn't noticed a thing. She looks over to me. Since you released me, I must look stupefied, because she laughs. Hard to get your head around it, isn't it? She looks up at the house. I won't come inside again, if it's all the same to you. I've spent far too long in there for one lifetime. She takes a few steps forward, and then leans against the small wall by the steps where I'm standing, watching her, this new Sally. But now I'm free. Thanks to you. She looks down at her hands. So strange to be in such an old body. Enjoy your youthful skin while you have it. Getting out of the shower in front of the bathroom mirror has been a horror story that's taking some getting used to, but I shouldn't complain. I thought I was stuck in there forever. It's so strange, listening to her. She's still Sally, but with added ingredients. An edge, an anger. Is this because of what happened to her, or was it always there? Is it part of why Jo killed her? And maybe I nearly was. She shakes her head. In that godful room upstairs, you eventually start to mesh with the house. It sucks you in, and it gets harder to be you. It eats you up, devours your being. Fortuna Carmichael's husband, Gerald, eventually died out here, so that killed him in there, but there are echoes of others trapped in the brickwork. People who lived too long out here to ever truly release the bits inside when they died. They feed the house. It likes it. She shivers, and I realize that however bad the feeling I got from her presence in the room was, it was nowhere near as awful as the room felt for her. The books, I say, eventually. Was that you? You will die here? She lights a cigarette and exhales. I needed to get your attention, and it was a warning. This place, it brings out the worst in people. It's been doing it with you too. I saw everything. Her eyes are flint sharp. Your husband's hidden gambling. She nods down the lane. You should leave him. He's a weak piece of shit. What's going to happen the next time you have a crisis? All your money down the drain again. He needs help, I say. I've got some money coming. Ah yes, the blackmail. She laughs. You surprised me there. But like I said, I think there's something in this house that brings the worst parts of you to the surface. I was always jealous, yes. And there's no way I could have done the open relationship thing long term, but being in this house made me worse. It made Jo more selfish too. The bastard murdered me, after all. Do you think, after you came back, he realized there was part of you trapped in Larkin Lodge? I don't think he gave it a moment's thought. Jo is all about Jo, and I was compliant and adoring. I honestly think he's persuaded himself it was just a bad trip, that he never killed me at all. She takes another fierce inhale, but he did, and he has to pay for that. What are you going to do? I can hear the rumble of an engine heading back up the lane. Jo come to collect his loving wife, Oliver. I watch her posture and expression change as the car comes into view, straighter and more serene. Asterisk, I'll think of something, she says before coming forward and kissing me on the cheek, enveloping me in her perfume. Take care, Emily. She squeezes my arm. I owe you one, and I mean that. As she jumps in and they drive away, I wave as if everything is perfectly normal. Safe travels, I call after them, and then Sally twists around and smiles a vicious goodbye at me. and I know in that instant that I'm very unlikely to see Joe ever again. Chapter 77. Freddie. The drive up the lane with a slight beer buzz doesn't take the edge off the frustration of not having the time to reinforce my worries with Paul. As soon as Joe was on his way back to Sally, I'd begun to tell Paul that this calmer and happier Emily was only a show for visitors, and that behind closed doors, her moods were entirely different. But his phone rang, and it was a sick parishioner who needed a visit. Still, I think as I drive, there's no rush. The bees buzz behind my eyes, impatiently contradicting me. Of course there's a rush. Every day the noose of debt gets tighter, and I get closer to losing my kneecaps. The road is full of gray slush, the snow melting into dirt. I wish Emily weren't being so nice, so much like her old self. Maybe she isn't thinking of divorcing me after all. I can't decide if that's a disappointment or not. How far down the road of setting up her suicide am I? Setting up her suicide? I'm so weak. I have to laugh at how I sugarcoat things, even to myself. Plotting her murder, that's what I really mean. I have to be honest, at least with myself. The truth is that I'm thinking about killing my wife. If I gave her enough sleeping pills, it wouldn't even hurt. She just wouldn't wake up. I wouldn't want to hurt her. God, I'm so tired. I pull up at the post box to empty it of any final demands and credit letters that I'm not even going to open before I throw them on the fire. The dread makes me stare at my phone for a moment. The temptation to have just one go on the Poker Play UK app that I've deleted and added back so many times now. I shove my phone into my pocket and get out. If I'm really considering doing the unthinkable to get myself out of this mess, I need to stop now. There are 3 bills waiting for me in the box, and I screw them up and stuff them into my pockets. But there's something else. A white A4 envelope, neatly addressed to Emily. A business envelope, and it feels like there's a fair amount of paperwork inside. She has filed for divorce. I look more closely and see that it's come from the company Mark works at. What the hell is Mark doing sending paperwork to Emily? It's not like they've even ever been close. Is he somehow advising her on how to get the best out of this awful financial mess? Moving her pension somewhere out of reach, maybe. I open it as carefully as possible, but the paper still tears, but nothing I can't tape up and pretend it came that way. I pull out the documents, immediately recognizing them as paperwork for a Jersey account. Why the hell does Emily have a Jersey account? And then look at the short note written in Mark's busy scrawl paper clipped to the front. The 150K is all there. We're done. Destroy the film of me and Kat. Get out of your friendship with Isso. I stare for a very long time, totally confused. What film of Kat and Mark would Emily have? £150,000. Why would Mark give her all that money for it? The obvious truth slowly sinks in as a chill wind cuts through me. Mark is fucking Kat. Emily knows and has blackmailed him. Now she has £150,000 hidden away. The truth dawns on me. She's got a get-out plan for herself, and is going to leave me in all the shit. That fucking bitch. Chapter 78. Emily. I've done a lot of thinking in the couple of days since Sally and Joe left, and the house fell still. We are not like those other couples. We are going to be okay. Mark's paperwork didn't arrive, so I've chased him and he's emailed me copies as proof while he gets a second lot of papers prepared. I've told him to send the replacements recorded delivery. That way the postman will have to bring them to the house, but it doesn't matter if Freddie sees them. I've finally made my decision. I'm going to tell him about the money, and we'll work through his problems together. We're both flawed. We can both be selfish. He's gambled away all our money because I nearly died, and I've blackmailed one of our friends to save us. Neither of us is perfect, but at least we're whole. We've been together a long time, and I don't want to give up on us now. I don't want us to become like all those other couples, staying together out of habit, love having curdled into mild contempt. We're better than that, and I've got the money and a plan. Yes, Freddy can be weak under his sweetness, but I need to accept that, and anyway it leaves space for me to take charge. I've found 4 potential places in France that could work as a home with space for a little bed and breakfast, or Airbnb. We could leave everything behind and start again. Live our best lives. I've gone into Wivlescombe for the day, and while the librarian prints out Mark's documents, I found a comfy chair and am browsing a book on living in France. I'm not keen on spending too much time in the house, alone, especially after what Sally said about it bringing out the worst in its residents. I'd thought about that all night after they left, and she's right. I would never have blackmailed Mark before we lived in Larkin Lodge, and the way Freddy and I fought about the nail, that wasn't like us. There were plenty of things happening in the house that weren't Sally too. The cold draft, the way the bathroom door opened just enough for me to follow Mark and Kat, but not enough for me to get caught. Who knows why the house is the way it is? There was no explanation in the ledger. But maybe it came from the energy of the miserable souls buried so awfully at the crossroads for hundreds of years. So much misunderstood unhappiness. Maybe that's why the house draws couples with problems to it. I was angry with Freddy when I was looking at the house, and he said that the house was there on my iPad when I was in the hospital, but I'm pretty sure I'd closed the window down. I always do. The house wanted us, but I'm wise to it now. After an hour or so, a group of nursery children come into the library for story time. So I get some lunch at a cute cafe, grab some beef from the butcher for dinner, and then, after going to the pharmacist, on my drive home I pull in at the vicarage. Hey, as Paul opens the front door, I hold out a cake box. I was in the village for lunch and they had such a great cake selection, I bought you a couple. I'm on a charm offensive after seeing the cautious side glances he kept giving me when he came over last Sunday. It may take us a couple of months before we sell the house, and I want to get our friendship back on an even keel. That's so very sweet of you. Thank you. I can't stop, but I wanted to thank you for being so supportive since we've moved in. You've made us very welcome in the village. Behind him, the narrow hallway is filled with the plants from Sally and Joe's studio, and my stomach flutters, wondering how they're getting on. And I'm sorry again for getting snappy in the car. The pain can really affect my mood sometimes. But I've been taking stronger painkillers, and they're really helping. I'm so pleased to hear it. He steps a little back into the house. Are you sure you won't come in? I can't today. But don't be a stranger. Maybe we can keep one another company while Sally and Joe are away. Asterisk, I would like that. And it's good to see you looking so well. You're positively glowing. Honestly, I feel great. I really do. Glowing. Am I glowing, or is he being polite? I guess the pack of 3 pregnancy tests in my bag will answer that question soon enough. I've turned a corner, and my head is much clearer. I think I'd underestimated the effect of my accident on my senses. Looking forward to seeing my specialist, and getting the all clear. I nod at the plants before he can comment. Are you managing with those okay? Any news from Sally and Joe? I'm doing my best. And I had a text to say they'd arrived, but that was it. I expect they're too busy having fun. I expect so. I can only imagine. Anyway, I should get back. I'm attempting a beef Wellington for Freddy today. Wish me luck, and feel free to pop up any time. I breeze off to the car, and his smile as he waves me off is much more relaxed. I feel good, and my leg is hardly aching today. Time to get home and prep dinner. And then there are the pregnancy tests. I can't fight the excitement. Time to expunge my guilt. It'll be like I never cheated. I can pretend all that was just a dream. I'm going to be a good mother. I know I am. Asterisk Freddy, she cooked beef Wellington for dinner tonight, and got dressed up, and was all smiles and affection. It took every ounce of energy to play along, while in my head, the wheels kept turning to the rhythm of fucking bitch, fucking bitch, fucking bitch. 2 long days since I found the envelope from Mark, and she's been sweetness and light and not said a word. I chewed the meat and pastry. At least one of us can afford to buy a huge lump of organic finest beef until it was a pulp, not trusting my dry throat to be able to swallow. I can't figure her out. What game is she playing? She's got this £150,000 from Mark hidden away, but she's still here playing the forgiving wife. I did the washing up, insisting she go and relax, and she kissed me, telling me to hurry so we could watch a film together. She had lipstick on her teeth, and it suddenly revolted me. My wife felt like my enemy. I made a work excuse, ignoring her disappointment, and went to the red room with my laptop and pretended to work. Eventually she went to bed, and I promised to join her as soon as I could. I haven't joined her. I've been staring at the red walls, lost in the heavy flock wallpaper, thinking of her cold, dead body, the insurance claim, the money that would be all mine. Even Mark's $150,000 would come to me. What's good for the gander is good for the goose. The house cools around me as the night thickens outside. She said she'd been out all day today, in the local town, and once again I'd noticed her eyes slip away from me, as if she was hiding a secret. I can't stop thinking about her seeing a divorce lawyer. Maybe they've told her she has to keep up the charade of pleasantries. Don't give me time to launch a counterattack, devious little Emily. My stomach gurgles, the heavy dinner too rich for my nerves, and I get to my feet. I should go to bed, sleep on it, be fresh in the morning. The bees are buzzing so loud in my head I think it's going to split. A lamp is on in the sitting room, and as I go to turn it off, I see Emily's iPad on the coffee table, still has its screen lit up, even though she's been upstairs a while. It's weirdly not locked, but open on her emails. I pick it up, sitting on the sofa, and am about to go into search to see if she's been chatting with a divorce lawyer when I realize the email thread that's open is from her old work account, and the date is from a few weeks before the holiday. I didn't even know she could still get into that account. I presumed it was all deleted when she left, but maybe she archived them for reasons I can't fathom. What other explanation could there be? It's not a group thread, just Emily and her old boss, Neil, who she always raved about, but who I thought was a bit of a smug prick. Handsome in an older man way, I guess. But even if M couldn't see it, I knew he looked down on women a little, like they always needed looking after or rescuing. One of those. I paused before hitting the search button, my eyes catching on a phrase. I have no regrets, and we're both adults, but I perfectly understand. And this is premature, but please know that you're getting the promotion tomorrow. Not because of this, obviously, but because you deserve it. It had already been decided before the conference, in case you had concerns. Not because of what, and why was he talking about no regrets? Them both being adults. I open up the whole thread and feel steadily more sick as I read the whole thing through. I remember the conference she went to. It was over a weekend. A bunch of them from work were going, and she said it would be good for her. Promotion chances. The written phrases make my vision swim. Shouldn't have done it. We were drunk. It was great, but it can't happen again. Emily fucked her boss. I tossed the iPad down, not wanting to touch it. She drunk fucked her boss for a promotion. My Emily. Holier than thou, Emily. She cheated on me? No wonder she was so shitty during the holiday. Was it because she was struggling with the guilt?
Thank you for watching. I hope that you like it. Don't forget subscribe to my channel and give us a like, and see you next time. Bye.